Have you ever felt like someone in your life is secretly working against you, but you just can't prove it? Maybe you sense something is off. The way they smile, the way they speak, or how they react to your successes. What if I told you that hidden hatred is more common than you think, and it often disguises itself in ways you never expected? Today, I'm going to reveal 12 undeniable signs that someone close to you might secretly hate you. These signs are subtle, but once you recognize them, you'll never see your relationships the same way again. Why should you watch until the end? At the end of this video, I'm going to share a crucial lesson. One that will not only help you identify these hidden enemies, but also empower you to protect yourself from their toxic influence. This isn't just another video. It's a wake-up call that could change your life. So, if you're ready to uncover the truth and free yourself from the people who secretly drain your energy and peace, stay with me until the very last second. You won't regret it. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video, you can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Sign 1. They smile, but their eyes don't. This is one of the most subtle, yet undeniably chilling, signs that something is amiss in a relationship. It's the kind of sign that can go unnoticed by many, but for those who are in tune with the deeper, unspoken language of human interactions, it is glaringly clear. Think about that person who is often around you, always offering that smile at social gatherings, during casual chats, and in everyday interactions. At first glance, everything seems normal, but the moment you look deeper, into their eyes, you notice something unsettling. What you expected to be warmth, connection, or even affection feels absent. Their eyes, instead of reflecting the friendliness their smile suggests, seem hollow, distant, or perhaps even cold. There's no real spark in them. Instead, there's something almost unsettling in their gaze. It could be a faint trace of disdain, or worse, an uncomfortable avoidance of eye contact altogether. This behavior is not necessarily something the person is aware of, but it is a powerful and often unconscious reflection of their true feelings. Perhaps deep-seated hatred or, at the very least, an intense discomfort toward you. The smile, which may appear sincere at first, is often just a social mask, something they feel obligated to offer in public or out of politeness. But the eyes, as they say, never lie. No matter how skilled someone is at masking their true emotions, their eyes will always reveal what lies beneath the surface. The eyes are often referred to as the windows to the soul, and when you see eyes that lack warmth and don't reflect genuine affection, you are witnessing a clear sign that the relationship is purely superficial, if not downright strained. It's like a mirage, something that initially seems genuine, but upon closer inspection, proves to be nothing more than a facade. The smile, in this case, is a social mechanism, one that serves to maintain appearances and avoid conflict, but the eyes always tell the truth. When someone harbors negative feelings toward you, this type of behavior can become routine, like a well-rehearsed performance. They greet you with that smile, one that's polite but never reaches the eyes. You may think everything is fine on the surface, but if you tune in carefully, you'll feel that something is off. The atmosphere around you may feel tense or heavy, and that smile, while outwardly appearing warm, seems forced, almost like an automatic response. It's as if they're going through the motions, but something is missing, the authenticity is gone. And when you look deeper into those eyes, you can sense the quiet disdain. It's there, lurking beneath the surface, disguised as kindness. But if you're perceptive enough, it's not hard to spot. The truth is that hatred is not always loud, explosive, or overtly aggressive. Sometimes, it's more subtle. It's camouflaged in small, seemingly innocent gestures, a soulless smile that hides deeper emotions. This can be especially painful when the person displaying this behavior is someone close to you. A friend, a colleague, or even a family member. It's disorienting and hurtful to realize that someone you trust may not harbor the same feelings toward you. But remember this, those who harbor ill feelings toward you often disguise their true emotions behind these fake smiles. And though it may sting to confront this reality, it's important to recognize these signs for what they are, a reflection of what they truly think of you. The way someone looks at you or avoids looking at you can reveal a lot more than words ever could. If you've ever noticed this disconnection in someone's smile, If you've ever felt that the smile is nothing more than a hollow gesture, it's likely the person is not genuinely interested in you or your well-being. They may be hiding a deep resentment, and it may not always be visible through words or actions, but through this subtle, yet clear, signal. Hatred doesn't always manifest in dramatic outbursts or overt aggression. Sometimes, it hides behind a smile, lurking in the eyes. Never underestimate the power of a glance or the absence of warmth in someone's gaze. The eyes communicate what words often can't express. If a smile doesn't reach the eyes, the message is clear. That person is rejecting you, whether consciously or unconsciously. It's a sign of discomfort, resentment, or even disdain that cannot be ignored. Stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll uncover a powerful secret that will change the way you perceive the people around you, helping you better understand the true dynamics of your relationships. Sign 2. They always find excuses to avoid you. One of the most telling signs of hidden hatred is when someone consistently comes up with excuses to avoid spending time with you or engaging with you in any meaningful way. This may be one of the most obvious signs, yet it often goes unnoticed because it's so subtle at first. Over time, though, it becomes increasingly clear. When someone begins to regularly offer excuse after excuse not to see you, not to engage in conversation, or not to interact with you at all, it's a strong indication that something deeper, something negative, is at play. It's important to understand that hatred isn't always expressed through confrontation or harsh words. Often, it reveals itself through avoidance. This avoidance isn't just a sign of disinterest, but rather a deliberate attempt to distance themselves from you. You might start hearing that they're too busy to meet up, that they have other important commitments, or that they're overwhelmed with work. They might say they're too tired, or that something urgent has come up. These excuses might seem reasonable at first, but as time passes, they will likely become more frequent and less convincing. The key here is that the excuses never stop. The person's reasons for avoiding you continue to pile up, each more feeble than the last, until they no longer hold any weight. What you're witnessing is not a simple matter of inconvenience or a busy schedule. Rather, this person has consciously chosen to avoid you. Even though you haven't done anything explicitly wrong or hurtful toward them, their actions are a clear signal that they want nothing to do with you. This is a subtle, yet undeniable, form of rejection. Hatred often reveals itself more through actions like avoidance than through any sort of confrontation. In many cases, it's easier for people to distance themselves rather than face the discomfort of addressing their true feelings. So, when someone continually makes excuses to avoid seeing you, they are building an invisible wall between you and them. This is their way of keeping you at arm's length, without ever having to confront the issue head-on. It's a form of self-preservation, a method of protecting themselves from the negative emotions they associate with your presence. What makes this particularly difficult is that avoidance is rarely something you can directly call out. The person isn't being overtly rude or harsh. They're too clever for that. Instead, they craft their excuses in ways that leave you without any tangible reason to be upset. They avoid you in such a way that makes it hard to pin down their true feelings, leaving you confused and uncertain. It's not just that they don't want to see you. It's a psychological strategy to reject you without ever having to say it aloud. They're essentially creating a mental and emotional barrier, a growing wall that becomes taller and more impenetrable with each excuse. In every excuse they offer, in every act of avoidance, there's a message. They want you out of their life. And although the words may be gentle, the message is clear. It's as if these excuses speak louder than any confrontation could ever do, creating a silent but powerful rejection. They've chosen to keep you at a distance, not because of something you've done, but because they simply don't want to have you in their life anymore. The avoidance becomes a form of rejection that stings deeply, yet you're left without the chance to resolve it since it's never directly addressed. If someone truly doesn't harbor hatred for you, they will make an effort to see you, to spend time with you, even when their lives are busy and stressful. They'll find a way to be present, to show that they value your relationship. But excuses are just a means to shut you out, to subtly imply that your presence in their life is a burden, a source of discomfort, or even an obstacle they'd rather not deal with. And if you're the one on the receiving end of these excuses, the emotional impact can be deep. You're left with a lingering sense of rejection, all while feeling as though you can't directly confront the issue because it's cloaked in excuses. It's painful, frustrating, and confusing. Yet, despite the apparent civility of their words, the truth is unmistakable. They're pushing you away, distancing themselves from you as much as possible without ever having to say the words outright. This, although subtle, is one of the clearest and most painful signs that they have emotionally and mentally rejected you. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Sign 3. They never celebrate your achievements, only minimize them. When someone harbors feelings of hatred towards you, one of the most telling signs is their complete lack of genuine happiness for your success, no matter how big or significant that success may be. People who hold animosity toward you often cannot find it in themselves to celebrate your victories, no matter how hard you've worked to achieve them. You may have poured your heart and soul into reaching a personal goal, dedicating countless hours, overcoming obstacles, and persevering through tough times. Finally, when you succeed and the moment of triumph arrives, that person will not take a moment to acknowledge or celebrate your accomplishment with you. Instead, they may do the opposite. They may downplay your achievement, make it seem insignificant, or, in some cases, ignore it completely. This behavior is one of the most emotionally devastating actions a person can take against you because it not only invalidates all of your hard work and dedication, but also sends a strong message that your success means nothing to them. It serves as a direct blow to your sense of self-worth, as it reflects their belief that what you've done holds no real value in their eyes. This behavior is a subtle yet powerful form of emotional rejection, stemming directly from hatred. People who are filled with resentment don't want to see you succeed. They feel threatened by your achievements and don't want them to stand out or be recognized. They may attempt to diminish your success in ways that appear subtle but are still deeply hurtful. For instance, instead of offering a heartfelt congratulations, they might give you a faint, almost insincere smile or say something like, "Well, it's a good start," when in reality, what you've achieved is nothing short of a breakthrough, a true milestone. This passive-aggressive minimization works to make you feel like your success isn't worthy of celebration. It makes you question your accomplishments, as though no matter how hard you try or how much you achieve, it will never be enough to earn their recognition or approval. Over time, this kind of behavior wears down your spirit, making you feel as though you'll never be deserving of praise or acknowledgement. If you find that someone consistently refuses to celebrate your victories, constantly minimizes them, or outright ignores them, this is a clear sign that they don't appreciate or respect you. They may be pretending to be supportive, but their actions speak volumes about their true feelings. While it may seem like a small or trivial gesture on the surface, this form of emotional undermining is one of the most damaging tactics someone can use, and it can have long-lasting effects on your self-esteem. The refusal to celebrate your achievements is a cruel reminder that their resentment is so strong that they cannot bring themselves to acknowledge your success, even when it's something to be proud of. Never underestimate the deep impact of people who deliberately downplay or dismiss your accomplishments. It's not just an innocent oversight, it's a strategic way for resentful individuals to try to keep you feeling small, unworthy, and unsupported. This behavior is not just a sign of dislike, but an attempt to diminish your confidence and keep you from fully embracing and celebrating the progress you've made. Sign 4. They deliberately ignore you. When someone intentionally and consistently ignores you, it's a clear sign that this person is actively avoiding your presence. This goes far beyond the occasional lapse in attention or simple forgetfulness. It's a purposeful, calculated action designed to shut you out. Deliberate ignoring is one of the most painful ways someone can show contempt because it does more than just overlook you. It erases you. It sends a message that your very existence holds no worth to them. Your words, your presence, and your company seem to mean nothing at all to that person. It's as if they've decided, without explanation, that you are irrelevant. This behavior is often used by those who harbor negative feelings toward you as a way to diminish your significance, to make you feel unseen and unheard. When someone continually ignores you, fails to respond to your attempts to communicate, deliberately excludes you from group activities or conversations, or avoids any interaction with you at all, it's a blatant expression of disdain. It's a tactic that aims to invalidate your very existence and dismiss your worth as a person. The emotional cruelty of this action lies in the silence and indifference it conveys, which can often be more damaging than the most direct verbal insult. Silence, especially when it's intentional, is a weapon of emotional destruction. It communicates, without a single word, that you are unworthy of even the smallest consideration, leaving you to question your value and your place in that person's life. This form of deliberate ignorance can be incredibly painful because it doesn't just reject you, it denies your humanity. It's not just the absence of attention, it's the absence of respect, compassion, and acknowledgement. It is a calculated choice to make you feel invisible, unimportant, and insignificant. If you've ever been subjected to this treatment, you understand how deeply it can hurt. It's heartbreaking to realize that someone you care about or interact with regularly is intentionally acting as if you don't matter at all. The isolation it creates can leave you feeling emotionally abandoned and unworthy of any attention or affection. This type of behavior has a profound impact on your self-esteem and mental health. It can leave you questioning your worth and the reasons behind such treatment. Why are you being ignored? What did you do to deserve this? These are the questions that plague your mind as you try to make sense of the situation. But the truth is, the person ignoring you isn't simply rejecting your presence. They're manipulating your perception of yourself. They want you to believe that you are not deserving of their time or energy, and over time, this tactic can erode your confidence and sense of self. This disdain, masked as indifference, is a subtle yet highly effective way to diminish your sense of self-worth. Every instance of being ignored serves as a reminder that you are not wanted, that you don't belong in their world. At its core, this behavior is an act of hatred, a way to diminish your spirit and make you feel insignificant. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Sign 5. They compliment you sarcastically. Sarcasm is often one of the most subtle yet dangerous forms of disdain because it cleverly disguises itself as a socially acceptable method of communication. On the surface, sarcasm might seem harmless, even witty, but underneath the layers of seemingly light-hearted words, it can be a sharp weapon of emotional manipulation. When someone offers a compliment in a sarcastic tone, it's not a genuine expression of admiration or appreciation. Instead, it is a covert attempt to belittle you, to undermine your sense of self-worth in a way that feels almost impossible to confront. These sarcastic remarks are indirect attacks on your self-esteem, cleverly veiled behind the pretense of positivity. The person delivering these comments isn't willing to openly admit their negative feelings. They aren't going to directly say, "I hate you." Instead, they use sarcasm as a shield, a way to deliver a compliment that, at its core, is not meant to make you feel good, but rather to chip away at your confidence. Rather than uplifting you, sarcastic comments leave you feeling confused, disoriented, and uncomfortable. On the surface, they might sound like compliments, maybe even things that are supposed to make you feel good about yourself. But the tone, the context, and the subtle implications make you question the sincerity of the words. It's like being handed a bouquet that, upon closer inspection, has thorns instead of petals. The seemingly kind words are wrapped in a layer of scorn, and the sting of insincerity becomes evident in the way they are delivered. This kind of behavior is insidious because it's designed to undermine your confidence without causing any obvious confrontation. The person using sarcasm doesn't want to have a direct conflict with you, so they resort to this passive-aggressive strategy. They mask their true feelings of disdain with a veneer of politeness, creating an atmosphere where it's difficult to confront them without seeming overly sensitive or paranoid. The sarcastic compliments are meant to make you feel small, to silently express negativity without allowing you to defend yourself. As time passes and these sarcastic remarks pile up, they start to erode your sense of worth. Compliments, which are supposed to affirm and encourage, begin to feel hollow. You may start to question yourself, wondering if you're truly deserving of praise or if you're simply the butt of a cruel joke. You may even find yourself second-guessing your achievements, feeling like nothing you do is ever good enough. What should be moments of celebration or recognition feel tainted, leaving you emotionally drained and uncertain. But this form of sarcasm is more than just a way of mocking you. It's a subtle form of psychological control. The person wielding sarcasm doesn't want to build you up, but rather to tear you down in a way that is difficult to call out. They want to make you feel insecure, to sow seeds of doubt in your mind, without giving you the space to challenge or question their behavior. Every sarcastic compliment they deliver creates a ripple of confusion, where you start to doubt your value, your accomplishments, and your sense of self. Ultimately, this behavior is characteristic of someone who may harbor deep resentment or hatred toward you but doesn't want to engage in open conflict. They hide behind sarcasm to create a facade of civility, while secretly undermining your sense of worth. It's a tactic designed to make you question yourself, to leave you in a constant state of emotional uncertainty, all while maintaining the appearance of kindness and politeness. Sign 6. Constant criticism without clear foundations. When someone harbors hatred toward you, their actions may take on a more subtle and damaging form, often disguised as criticism. Initially, this criticism may seem reasonable or justified, perhaps aimed at something you did or a decision you made. It might feel like a chance for self-improvement, and you may even consider it thoughtfully. However, as time goes on, these critiques become frequent and vague, and start to lose their logical foundation. What seemed like constructive feedback turns into an ongoing barrage of unjustified remarks, which is a clear indicator that something deeper is at play, a growing resentment or even hatred. Baseless criticism, while seemingly benign at first, is a covert way of attacking your sense of self-worth. It's a tactic designed to weaken your confidence and create emotional distance. Hatred doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes, it disguises itself as helpful advice or constructive criticism. But when the criticisms you receive are unfounded, lacking any reasonable explanation or logic, it becomes clear that they are not meant to help you grow. Rather, the person behind them is more interested in diminishing your value and belittling you than in offering genuine guidance. What makes this criticism even more damaging is the way it's delivered. It's not about engaging in an honest, open discussion or offering solutions. Instead, it's a hidden assault, a subtle jab aimed at your confidence that leaves little room for you to explain, clarify, or defend yourself. Each remark feels like a blow, one that is designed to land without warning, catching you off guard, and ultimately leaving you vulnerable. It doesn't allow you the opportunity to stand your ground or offer a counterpoint, making you feel small and powerless. If you find yourself constantly being criticized, even for things that seem trivial or unimportant, and if the other person doesn't allow you space to explain yourself, you are likely witnessing a manifestation of hatred. This type of criticism is not about you being wrong or needing improvement. It's a veiled attack on your emotional state, undermining your self-confidence and peace of mind. The person isn't concerned with offering constructive feedback but is instead focused on making you doubt yourself, your actions, and your choices. As the criticism piles up, you may begin to question your thoughts and behaviors. Is what they're saying true? You might ask yourself, am I making so many mistakes? These doubts, planted by repeated, unsubstantiated criticism, are the true damage being done. The person offering the critique has no genuine intention to help you improve. They simply want to keep you in a constant state of uncertainty. The goal is not to lift you or guide you. It's to control you by keeping you on edge, questioning your worth and decisions. The worst part about this type of criticism is that it does not come with any desire to help you find solutions. It's not an opportunity for growth, but an attempt to keep you in a cycle of doubt and mistrust. Hatred is often cloaked in these small, insidious critiques, each one chipping away at your confidence and making you feel less capable and less sure of yourself. If you are surrounded by criticism that lacks justification, offers no solutions, and is intended solely to undermine your confidence, it's not just a mere disagreement, it's a sign of hatred. This is hatred disguised as advice, and it cares little for your well-being or your emotional health. It seeks only to diminish you, leaving you feeling isolated, vulnerable, and questioning your worth. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Sign 7. Constantly comparing you to others. When someone harbors hatred for you, one of the most subtle and harmful ways they demonstrate it is by persistently comparing you to others. This comparison isn't rooted in any desire to see you improve or grow. There is no encouragement or positive intention behind these comparisons. Rather, the individual who harbors ill feelings toward you lacks the time or effort to acknowledge your unique worth, recognize your accomplishments, or appreciate you for who you truly are. Instead, they engage in a constant, undermining process of pointing out how you are less than others, whether in terms of success, appearance, or any other measure they deem important. These comparisons are not random or accidental. They are deliberate, laced with judgment and contempt. The underlying message is clear. You're not as good as someone else, you're not measuring up, and you are somehow inferior to the person they hold in higher regard. The insidious nature of this behavior is that it's not always overtly obvious. The person may not come right out and say you're worthless. Instead, they might disguise their negativity as helpful advice or constructive criticism, all the while subtly reinforcing the idea that you're inadequate. They may phrase it as if they are offering you guidance on how to improve, but the true intention is to leave you feeling diminished, small, and questioning your worth. They do not see you for who you are, nor do they value your accomplishments. Instead, they try to make you doubt your potential by making you feel inferior. This isn't the kind of criticism that's meant to support your growth or help you become a better version of yourself. On the contrary, this is criticism designed to keep you in a state of constant insecurity. Every time they compare you negatively to someone else, they reinforce the idea that you're not good enough. They imply that you'll never measure up, that you'll always fall short in some way. This pattern of behavior isn't meant to help, it's meant to hinder, to break you down emotionally, and to keep you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. Hatred often hides in the form of comparisons. If someone truly respects and cares for you, they wouldn't need to make you feel like you're not as good as someone else. Genuine care does not involve tearing down or belittling someone by constantly measuring them against others. But when hatred is present, these comparisons become a tool for control, an insidious way to strip away your self-esteem, lower your confidence, and make you feel smaller both in the eyes of others and in your own eyes. If someone around you continuously compares you to others in a negative or diminishing way, it is a clear sign that they not only harbor feelings of disdain for you but are actively working to instill that same sense of inadequacy within you. It's an attempt to make you feel inferior and unworthy, ultimately trying to turn you against yourself. Recognizing this behavior is the first step in protecting your emotional well-being and understanding that it comes from a place of deep resentment, not genuine concern or care. Sign 8. They mock your weaknesses. One unmistakable and painful sign that someone harbors a deep hatred for you is when they continuously mock or belittle your weaknesses and insecurities. Every person has their vulnerabilities, whether they be emotional, physical, or psychological, and these flaws are an inherent part of being human. In relationships, whether familial, platonic, or romantic, what we need most from others is understanding, compassion, support, and patience. These qualities allow us to grow, learn from our mistakes, and work towards becoming better versions of ourselves. However, when someone who despises you makes a habit of highlighting and ridiculing your weaknesses, it's a clear indication of their contempt for you. This person isn't offering constructive criticism or gentle advice. They are using your vulnerabilities as a weapon, publicly pointing them out to undermine you. Their mocking behavior isn't meant to help you grow or improve. Instead, it is designed to humiliate you, to degrade you in front of others and make it clear that they hold no respect for you whatsoever. Such behavior has no place in a healthy relationship. The people who genuinely care about you, your true friends, family members, and loved ones, will not laugh at your shortcomings or vulnerabilities. Instead, they will provide you with the encouragement and assistance you need. They'll understand that everyone has moments of weakness, and they'll be there to lift you when you fall, offering support, guidance, and empathy. But when someone harbors hatred toward you, they will exploit your weaknesses as opportunities for attack. Every time you stumble, make a mistake, or reveal something personal and vulnerable about yourself, they will seize that moment to tear you down, to make you feel small, insignificant, and inferior. This attack isn't just harmful in the immediate moment. It leaves lasting emotional scars that can linger long after the words are spoken. Constantly mocking your weaknesses is a subtle yet deeply harmful form of control and humiliation. It's their way of sending a message, that you are unworthy of respect, that your flaws and imperfections are grounds for ridicule, rather than compassion. They want you to believe that you are not deserving of acceptance or love, that you should be ashamed of who you are, flaws and all. The emotional toll of this behavior can be devastating, especially over time. It erodes your self-esteem and chips away at your confidence, leaving you with a haunting belief that everything about you, your most human and vulnerable qualities, are reasons to be laughed at, to be mocked, to be made the subject of cruel jokes. Instead of feeling supported and encouraged to heal or grow, you are made to feel that you are fundamentally flawed and that you will never be good enough, no matter how hard you try. Mocking your weaknesses is one of the most insidious forms of hatred. It isn't just an attack on your character, it's a deliberate effort to make you feel worthless, to strip you of your dignity, and to push you into a state of deep shame and despair. This behavior is not just cruel, it's calculated, a way for the person to express their hatred in a way that cuts deep and leaves scars. The real damage it does is far more than just momentary pain. It creates a cycle of emotional harm that can make you feel as though you'll never measure up, as though no matter how much you try, you will always fall short in their eyes. Sign 9. They don't support you in your difficult moments. One of the most devastating behaviors someone who harbors hatred towards you can exhibit is a complete lack of support when you need it the most. Life is full of challenges and hardships, and during those times, we naturally seek comfort, understanding, and empathy from the people around us. Whether we face a personal crisis, a family issue, or a moment of intense struggle, We rely on our loved ones to offer a shoulder to lean on, to help us navigate through the storm. However, when this person shows indifference to your suffering, or worse when they seem almost pleased by your misfortune, it's a clear and undeniable sign of their animosity toward you. Their refusal to offer support in your time of need is not just a minor neglect. It is a deeply cruel and selfish act that speaks volumes about their disregard for your well-being. It reveals that, in their eyes, you are nothing more than a source of contempt, and your struggles are a source of satisfaction for them. When you are in the midst of a crisis, whether it's an emotional breakdown, a financial hardship, or a loss, and the person who is supposed to care about you turns their back on you, or even worse, criticizes you for having a hard time, it goes far beyond just not offering help. It signals that they not only don't care, but they actively want to see you fail. They are hoping for your downfall, finding pleasure in your pain, and dismissing your suffering as insignificant. This lack of support can be incredibly painful because it creates an overwhelming sense of isolation, a feeling that no one is truly there for you when you need them the most. The sting of this indifference is even more painful when it comes from someone you believed would always have your back, someone you trusted to stand by you in your hardest moments. The emotional toll of being abandoned by those closest to you in times of need is immeasurable. It's not just the immediate hurt of feeling neglected. It's the deep, lingering wound of abandonment that leaves you questioning your worth, your value, and your place in the lives of others. When you are struggling and reaching out for a hand to hold, only to be met with coldness and distance, it can feel like the ultimate betrayal. This behavior is not just unkind, it's an act of rejection, a message that you are not worthy of their time, care, or compassion. If someone holds hatred for you, they will not hesitate to let you fall when you are at your most vulnerable. They will relish in your vulnerability, using it as an opportunity to further isolate you and make you feel like you don't deserve the love and care of others. They want to ensure that in your lowest moments, you feel completely alone, as if there is no one to turn to, no one who understands you, and no one who can help you heal. This abandonment, particularly when it comes from someone you've loved or trusted, is not just painful, it's traumatic. The contempt that underlies the lack of support during your toughest times doesn't just hurt at the moment. It leaves a lasting impact that can shape how you view relationships moving forward. It makes you question the sincerity of those who offer support, and it often leads to feelings of mistrust and self-doubt. You might start to believe that you don't deserve love, compassion, or care because you've experienced the cruelty of someone withholding it when you needed it most. The emotional scars left by this kind of treatment can make it difficult to open up to others in the future, leaving you feeling unworthy of the very things that should be a given: love, support, and understanding. This is one of the most insidious forms of hatred because it doesn't just harm you in the short term, it chips away at your spirit, leaving you questioning your place in the world and your worthiness of love and care. It is a deep violation of your humanity, robbing you of what you need most in your darkest hours: affection, empathy, and the reassurance that you are not alone. It is a cruel, selfish act that lingers long after the moment has passed, leaving behind a trail of emotional damage that can take years to heal. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 4 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Sign 10. They seek you out to make you feel bad. One unmistakable sign that someone harbors deep animosity towards you is when they actively seek you out with the sole intention of making you feel bad. This isn't the result of a simple misunderstanding or an occasional moment of frustration. No, this is a consistent pattern of behavior, a deliberate and calculated strategy aimed at lowering your spirits, making you feel uncomfortable, vulnerable, or even humiliated. These individuals don't just have a fleeting negative attitude or a random bad day. They are intentionally looking for opportunities to get under your skin, to strike at your most sensitive points. It's as though they're waiting for the perfect moment to attack, ready to exploit any weakness or insecurity they can detect in you. They often observe you closely, paying attention to your reactions, your vulnerabilities, and your emotional triggers to identify the right opportunity to use those things against you. The way they operate is insidious. It's not simply about being hurtful in the moment, but about creating a cycle of emotional discomfort where they derive satisfaction from watching you squirm. Their joy comes from knowing they can harm you emotionally, watching how their words or actions affect you in a way that makes you feel small, ashamed, or unworthy. This behavior goes beyond simple meanness or bad manners. It's toxic, manipulative, and cruel. These individuals prioritize their twisted sense of power or pleasure over their well-being. They actively seek to undermine your confidence and emotional security, often with a sense of enjoyment or amusement. The effect on you is deeply damaging, as they put you in situations where your self-esteem and emotional stability are under direct attack. When someone seeks you out for the express purpose of making you feel bad, they are not just having an off day. They are intentionally choosing to harm you, and the emotional toll it takes on you is something they seem to relish. Sign 11. They speak badly about you behind your back. When someone develops a deep-seated animosity or hatred toward you, one of the most common and insidious ways they express it is by speaking negatively about you behind your back. This passive-aggressive behavior is particularly harmful because it allows them to attack your character, reputation, or integrity without ever facing you directly. They do this in secret, without your knowledge, often to others who may have no idea what the true situation is, and in doing so, they spread rumors, tell lies, or criticize you in a way that prevents you from ever having the opportunity to respond, clarify, or defend yourself. What makes this behavior so destructive is its hidden nature. It's not just a simple disagreement or an open confrontation where both parties can discuss their grievances. Instead, it's a backdoor attack, a cowardly approach that allows the person to air their hatred without having to face the consequences of their actions. It's a sneaky way to damage someone's reputation without giving them the chance to speak their truth or even be aware of what's being said about them. The person who engages in this type of behavior often hides behind others, making them the conduit for their ill feelings, all while keeping their involvement hidden in the shadows. Talking badly about someone behind their back is not just a form of gossip, it's a deliberate effort to distort the narrative around that person. By telling falsehoods, exaggerating flaws, or simply spreading negative opinions without the full context, they craft a version of you that is entirely disconnected from reality. This leaves you feeling blindsided when others begin to act differently toward you, not realizing that these changes in attitude are rooted in the untrue things that have been said about you. It's a form of manipulation that relies on spreading negativity and sowing doubt in others' minds, all while you remain unaware of the origin of the negativity. This kind of behavior is one of the most cowardly and underhanded ways someone can express their hatred. Instead of confronting you directly, where there might be a chance for a resolution or at least an honest exchange, they choose to go behind your back. This means they are avoiding the discomfort of confronting the situation head-on, and instead, they opt for secrecy, cowardice, and manipulation. They don't give you the dignity of a conversation, the chance to clear up misunderstandings, or the ability to stand up for yourself. When someone hates you, they typically no longer see you as someone who deserves respect or consideration. In their eyes, you are no longer valuable, worthy of being heard, or even deserving of the benefit of the doubt. It's easy for them to speak badly of you because, to them, you have become someone unworthy of a fair chance of defending yourself. They may feel justified in tearing you down, viewing you not as a person but as an object of their resentment. This mindset allows them to freely spread negative stories, criticisms, and judgments without any concern for how it might affect them, knowing they are unlikely to be called out on their actions. Ultimately, the person who speaks badly about you behind your back does so with the full knowledge that you won't have the opportunity to stop them, confront them, or repair the damage they're causing. They are counting on the fact that you won't know what's being said, and this lack of accountability is exactly what makes their actions so damaging. It can cause emotional distress, strain relationships, and erode trust in a way that's difficult to recover from, because by the time you find out what's been said, the harm may already be done. They have planted seeds of doubt and negativity, and you may find yourself fighting an uphill battle to undo the damage, all while they remain safely hidden in the shadows, having never allowed you to stand up for yourself. Sign 12. They rejoice in your failures. One of the most unmistakable and hurtful signs that someone truly harbors negative feelings toward you is when they take pleasure in your failures. Instead of offering you comfort, understanding, or even a sympathetic word during your challenging times, they seem to find joy in watching things go wrong for you. This behavior goes beyond indifference. It shows a complete disregard for your struggles and a deep sense of satisfaction in your misfortune. When someone rejoices in your failures, it's not just a sign of bitterness, but a clear manifestation of disdain. They don't simply overlook your suffering or remain neutral, they actively celebrate it. It's as if they feel a sense of victory or validation when things fall apart for you. They may not even disguise their happiness when they hear about your setbacks or see you struggle. For them, your failure somehow elevates them, confirming their belief that they are superior or more capable. This kind of behavior speaks volumes about the depth of their resentment. It's not just an issue of envy or jealousy, it's a complete lack of empathy. When a person takes pleasure in your pain, It reflects not only an absence of compassion but also a profound detachment from basic human decency. Their reaction to your downfall highlights a total disconnect from the shared understanding that everyone, at some point, faces difficulties and needs support, not scorn. Ultimately, when someone rejoices in your failures, it reveals a heart hardened by malice, devoid of the kindness that would normally compel a person to lift another up in times of distress. It's a clear indicator of hatred, signaling that their feelings toward you are rooted in bitterness, superiority, and a profound lack of humanity. As we come to the end of this message, take a moment to reflect on everything you've heard. What stood out to you the most? What lessons have touched your heart and given you a new perspective? Comment below and share one thing you've learned today and how you will apply it in your life. Your insights may inspire and encourage others on their journey. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps spread these messages of hope and encouragement to more people. Stay blessed.